welcome to the June 20th City Planning Commission. Just want to call everybody. Mark present. Rich.
Yes.
Tony.
Here.
Colin.
He is here. I'm trying to get him unmuted. There he comes.
Colin, you present? I saw him.
He's accounted for.
Okay. And Jason. All right. Everybody read the minutes?
Yep.
I know there was nothing in May, but, what was that, April minutes, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have a problem with them? If not, I need a motion.
Make motion.
And a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, the blighted properties designations.
Good morning,
How
or
you
good
doing?
afternoon, I should say. In front of you is a resolution for the Planning Commission to designate 20 properties that were previously blighted by the Blighted Property Review Committee. This list is our second of this year for the Redevelopment Authority in our aggressive fight toward blight. This list contains one property that dates back as far as 2007, all the way up until ones that were blighted as early this year. 3 vacant lots and 17 properties that contain structures that we are wishing that the Planning Commission to designate as blighted.
All right. Everybody look through those?
Mm-hmm.
So now I look through them. We good? I need a motion then.
I'll make a motion to recommend blight.
Yep. And a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Right.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you, Aaron.
Okay, now we got the alley vacation.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
My name is Jenna Bickford. I'm an attorney at McDonald-Ellick. I'm here for National Fuel. I also have Matthew Dabowski here with me as a representative of National Fuel if there are any questions. We filed this petition to vacate an alley. This alley was recently discovered. It runs south from 11th Street between Peach and State. So this is behind the National Fuel building there at 1100 State, and it's adjacent to the City Parking Authority parking lot. This alley was created by an ordinance in December 14th of 1912, and again, it was just recently discovered. It was not known to be, at least during the years that National Fuel has owned or occupied this property, to be ever used by the public as an alley. The reasons to vacate the alley are set forth in our petition, but primarily because this has not been used by an alley in some time. It doesn't help the public access or travel. The alley doesn't currently connect anywhere. It used to go further south and connect to Peach Street, but the bottom portion of that alley was vacated back in the 70s. So currently it's used for parking by National Fuel. It would be a better use of this property to vacate that alley to continue the use of the parking by these parties. The adjacent property owners, the City Parking Authority, and also Pete Zafras to the south have approved and joined in this petition. There are no known affected utilities in this alley other than perhaps Verizon, which may bring service into the National Fuel building. And we've spoken with Verizon, and certainly if we find that utility is located in this alley, the parties will work out access for that,
Okay.
continued access.
I was going to say, because I saw the email that they
Yeah.
were stating, hey, there's
Yeah.
a,
Nothing was marked by the utilities, but
Yeah.
there's some belief it may be located there.
yeah.
And obviously National Fuel will want that service to continue.
Okay.
Are there any questions?
I don't have any questions. No, you good?
All good.
All right. Now I need a motion.
I'll make the motion.
And a second.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor? Aye. All right. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if you don't want to, you don't have to stay. I mean, for the rest of the meeting. That's up to you. I've been on that
Thank you
side
again.
before, sitting there going, do they need me anymore? Thank you very much. All right, Planning and Neighborhood Resources Activity Update.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hi. My main topic for today, I think all of you have the overview sheet in front of you. We have finished the process of the Buffalo Road Neighborhood Plan. You all have approved and recommended to council previously the East Bayfront Neighborhood Plan and the Academy Marvintown Neighborhood Plan. This plan follows similar structure to the Academy Marvintown Plan, kind of lays out different project areas, including like housing and property improvement recommendations, infrastructure improvements, and economic development opportunities in the neighborhood, and crime and safety. So this kind of one-page overview gives you a taste of what is all in the plan, and the plan is posted on the city's website now. So I was just going to run through this one-pager with you all. If you have any questions or comments, I'm happy to take those. Anything about the plan that you have questions on or the process, I'm happy to answer that. And then next month, we'll bring this back and ask for a recommendation to City Council for adoption and approval of the Buffalo Road Neighborhood Plan. So just bringing it forward today so you have time to review and look at the document on the city website. And if you have any questions or any comments, I'm happy to take those today, or you can send me an email as well. So this neighborhood is bounded by the Bayfront Highway on the southwest side and 12th Street on the north side, and then it goes all the way to the city's easternmost edge on Bird Drive. So those are kind of the boundaries, and it has 2 census tracts that make it up, and you can see the demographic breakdown on the first page there. Pretty diverse census tracts from each other, I think is important to note. We have Housing Authority properties on the north side of Buffalo Road, which is Census Tract 15, and we have more residential area and industrial area south of Buffalo Road on Census Tract 16. So 2 fairly different neighborhoods, just as a note, I guess, as in terms of demographics. We worked really closely with Gary Horton and the Urban Erie Community Development Corporation, whose office is around the north side of Buffalo Road, and they do a lot of work with the residents in that area, especially in public housing. So they kind of helped us craft a lot of the vision and the recommendations in this plan as people who are interfacing with residents every day, doing that community outreach. So you see this neighborhood vision, a lot of this came out of the conversations that we've had with that group. And they have come up with the neighborhood vision as building and growing the future. And breaking that down, about 50% of the zoned use in this neighborhood is industrial and manufacturing, and that's pretty significant for this neighborhood, and it makes it unique as well. We have a lot of immigrant and refugee families in the neighborhood and are growing a lot of home gardens. We did a GIS project with some of the students that are enrolled in the community center over there, and they identified 90 home gardens just between Downing and June Street north of Buffalo Road. So there's a lot of things growing over there. And then another important demographic note are that of all of the residents in the neighborhood, both census tracts, about 45% of those are under the age of 18, which is our highest concentration.
I was just going to say, is that high? Okay.
So about half of the people in that neighborhood are under the age of 18, which is the highest concentration. It's very significant. So when we think about building, that industrial manufacturing, growing all of the gardens, and then the future, the youth that are present in that neighborhood are significant. From there, we kind of take that vision and break it down. Like I said, we have those project areas. So the first one being housing. We completed, as we do with all of our neighborhood plans, a property condition assessment. So we assessed about 2,000 of the residential properties in that neighborhood and gave each a condition ranking based on the outside facade of the property and identified it on a scale of 1 to 5. And you can see the pie chart breakdown on the right there of the conditions in the neighborhood. About 34 properties were deemed as unsound, which means they are structurally need attention from code enforcement. And throughout the planning process, we've been working with the Redevelopment Authority to get those addressed and with code enforcement. And we've demolished 6 of those unsound properties already, and 3 of them have been privately rehabbed. So we're making progress on the properties that are kind of deemed the worst of the worst in the neighborhood, but we have additional properties that code enforcement will be working through over the course of the plan. We also identified a few vacant lots in the neighborhood. There is a significant amount of vacant land in the neighborhood, and identified some places where there was concerns about dumping and tall grass. So we've identified those in the plan. In terms of infrastructure improvements, we worked closely with the UECDC and the Eastside Grassroots Coalition over there to craft some of these recommendations. We're looking at a tract of land, 18th and June, which is currently vacant lots. It's where McDaniel Run is open and comes out from underneath the street. It's an area we identified as a high dumping area. So we're recommending turning that into more of a green space, public space, would be one of our first park recommendations. And then Roger Young Park, we've also had many conversations with the neighbors over there. High interest in a soccer field, but we're also embarking on a Parks and Recreation plan, hopefully beginning in the next couple of months. So we're going to look to that outreach process to determine Roger Young's future. Any questions so far? I'll pause there.
So I had one question with respect to the benchmarks for the housing units brought up to code of the 391 with open violations and the 5-year benchmark of 10%. So after 7 years, that brings it down to 50% of those units having been brought up to code. Is there can you explain how that 10% was arrived at or determined to be the right goal versus maybe being more aggressive and trying to, take those 400 units, sooner?
Yeah, I think it comes down to capacity. We have one code enforcement officer who's in charge of this neighborhood, and this is only one component and one part of his area that he addresses. So part of it is code enforcement's capacity, and then also in terms of if we're doing rehabilitation projects, that's also a capacity concern as well. I know the Redevelopment Authority has funding right now, and we're going to be funneling people as we find them through code enforcement to the Redevelopment Authority for assistance, but we'll likely need more funding to be able to address all of the concerns for those 300 some properties. So I think eventually it really comes down to capacity between our department and the Redevelopment Authority as well.
Great, thank you.
Yep. Other infrastructure improvements, we've identified the main corridors with the residents in the neighborhood organization for improvement. So Buffalo Road, Fairmont Parkway, Broad Street, Downing Avenue, and Bird Drive have all been identified as in need of improvement, and that includes sidewalk repair, as it was a major concern for residents, as I'm sure a lot of you have heard. And then we also incorporated the recommendations from Active Erie, which were bike lanes being added to Fairmont Parkway. Shouldn't need to be taking away any parking for that to be able to happen. And then also the Trans Systems report, which was published in 2020, looking at the Broad Street intersection there where Broad and Buffalo Road meet. So doing some safety work at that intersection, and then also adding bike lanes along Broad in front of that commercial area. So those were identified as just high traffic areas in the neighborhood, and also kind of major inroads and outroads through the neighborhood as well. And then we have 3 major economic development opportunities that were identified in the plan. The first being that Perry Plaza facility that is on Broad and Buffalo, and identified that as the main commercial area for the neighborhood, and doing some facade improvements to make that a more welcoming and vibrant neighborhood space. Savacchio Opportunity Park, the Grow Erie initiative, just broke ground, I think last week. So just outlining the initiative that is going on over there with the Minority Community Investment Coalition and the city's support of that. And finally, the Burton School redevelopment. The Urban Erie Community Development Corporation is looking at acquiring that building, turning it into more of community space. So kind of outlining the recommendations from that project as an economic development opportunity for the neighborhood. And the final section is crime and safety. We just identified a few crime and safety concerns in the neighborhood through our police data, police reports. And the neighborhood has a high interest in implementing a camera registry program so that when there are crimes that occur, the police have an easier way to get those, get access to cameras if they have a registry that they can pull from. So the DA's office has instituted a process for that, so we're hoping to partner with the DA's office to get more people registered through that. So that...
Is there
Yep, go ahead, Colin.
Sorry, and with respect to crime and safety, is there any expectation or plan to maybe make some of that information more publicly available? I mean, if the community clearly is interested in, sharing that information via videos, helping address that, is it going to be kind of a two-way street where the information is shown in like these heat maps you have?
Yeah, I mean, the heat maps are listed there in the document. We'd have to talk with the police department about making anything more detailed than that public. Just I know there's some legal concerns about that, so we would have to chat with them. But the heat maps are there, and you can see some emerging, I guess, hot spots that can be a place to start doing outreach for the camera registry project.
Thanks.
All right.
Any other questions,
I think we're
concerns,
good.
comments?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we'll be back in July, and we'll ask for your recommendation to council then.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron.
All right. I'm assuming we have no public comment. Andy, anything? We're good?
Nobody online? No.
Oh, okay. All right, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.